These are AirPod Pros. I've never really been a huge fan of AirPods. They aren't bad earbuds and I definitely do see the appeal for them, but for $160 I think that there are better options out there. So with that being said, what made me decide to drop $250 on these AirPod Pros? Who exactly are these even for, and has my opinion on AirPods changed with the AirPod Pros? Starting with the design of the AirPod Pros, I am a huge fan of the design, and I would go as far as to say that these are the best designed fully wireless earbuds on the market. The Pros are a lot smaller than the regular AirPods, and the length of the stem has been significantly reduced. And besides just making the earbuds look better, this also gives them a more discreet look in your ear when you're wearing them, which I am a huge fan of, as I never really liked how far the stems stick out of your ear when you're wearing the regular AirPods. The most notable design change is the addition of these rubber ear tips that allow the earbuds to create a better seal in your ear, which gives you better passive noise cancellation, a more secure fit, and better bass. And this is what seriously drew my attention to the AirPod Pros. One of my biggest gripes with regular AirPods was just not having them seal in your ear. It just gave them, in my experience, more of a loose fit. They didn't really stay in my ears comfortably at all. And in louder environments, you would have more noise leak in, so you'd have to turn the volume up to compensate for that. With the AirPod Pros, absolutely none of that is here. Now, earbuds are subjective for everybody, but for me, the fitment of the Pros itself was a little weird at first, and let me explain why. So in the box of the AirPod Pros, Apple includes 3 different size earbud tips, and by the way, these use a proprietary magnet system, so you can't just replace them with any rubber ear tip. Thankfully, Apple does sell them for a couple bucks if you lose them, but over dozens of different earbuds over the years, I've always found the best fit with the largest size ear tip. And with the AirPod Pros, I tried the large tip and the medium tip, but I actually got the best fit after a little trial and error with the small ear tip, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. With the medium and large size earbud tips, I would experience a little discomfort after about an hour of wearing them, but thankfully that's no longer an issue with the smaller ear tip. And with the right earbud tip on, you can wear AirPod Pros for hours and you'll be totally fine. You'll probably forget that you're even wearing them with how small and light they are, and that's one of my favorite things about them. AirPod Pros are also really good for workouts since they're so small and light, they stay so secure in your ear, and they have IPX4 water resistance in case you sweat a lot when you work out or it's raining outside, you'll be totally fine. If you're using an iPhone, Apple actually has an ear tip fitment test built right into iOS that will play a sound through the earbuds and use the external microphones to pick up on how much noise is leaking out. But don't just rely on this, as I was able to pass the test with all 3 different ear tip sizes. Really take the time to try each tip for yourself and see which one fits the best for you, because the fitment of AirPod Pros is super important because of its main feature, active noise cancellation. See, earlier I mentioned that the AirPod Pros have passive noise cancellation thanks to the addition of these rubber ear tips. And all that means is that these rubber ear tips, when they seal in your ear, will block out sound to the equivalent of what a regular earbud with a rubber ear tip would. What active noise cancellation does is it uses these microphones on the outside of the AirPods to pick up on any constant noises around you and then block it out. This is a feature that is becoming more and more common on larger over-ear headphones, but there aren't many earbuds on the market that have this, AirPod Pros being one of the only ones. So is this feature actually any good? I think it's absolutely incredible. AirPod Pros have 3 different listening modes, and you can switch between the 3 by long pressing on the volume icon in Control Center on your iPhone. Noise cancellation is the active noise cancellation that in my testing blocks out nearly 100% of all constant noises around you. Emphasis on the constant part though, as active noise cancellation will not block out very inconsistent sounds like hammering a nail into a wall, for example. But what it can block out is constant sounds like an engine noise, wind, stuff like that. Noises that aren't constant, I've found active noise cancellation actually does a really good job at suppressing them, which is really nice. And AirPods Pro also has the same feature that regular AirPods have, where when you take one out of your ear, the audio stops playing, and when you have active noise cancellation on, this is just such a trippy feeling to be able to hear nothing besides what you're listening to, and then you take an AirPod Pro out, the noise cancellation stops, and you go from hearing nothing besides what you were listening to everything. You hear wind, you hear the birds chirping, just everything. It's such a unique, cool, kind of trippy sensation that I really can't convey over video. It's one of those things that you just have to experience to know what I'm talking about. With active noise canceling headphones, you'll oftentimes experience a pressurized feeling similar to what you feel when you're taking off in an airplane, and that's something that I hate but with AirPod Pros, they both have air vents on the sides of the earbuds, so this feeling is non-existent and I love that. Another really nice to have feature with AirPods Pro is transparency mode, and what transparency mode does is it uses the noise cancelling microphones to pipe in audio from the outside alongside your music, and this is intended for situations where you might want to hear what's going on around you, but you also want to be listening to your music. Before actually trying AirPod Pros, I figured, that sounds cool, but it's probably just a gimmicky feature. But no, transparency mode is the real deal. It sounds more like the audio is being played on a speaker in the room rather than in earbuds that are directly in your ears. This feature is so good that I can have conversations with people and hear them perfectly fine with both earbuds in and listening to music, and I can see a lot of practical use cases for this feature. The third listening mode, which is called off, is just regular AirPods Pro without any active noise cancellation or transparency. AirPod Pros also feature always listening Hey Siri functionality, or if you don't want to use that, you can pinch the stem of the AirPod Pros. One pinch will play or pause audio, twice will skip forward a track, 3 times will skip back a track, and a 3-second hold will switch between the various listening modes. This is also how you switch between listening modes if your AirPods Pro aren't connected to an iPhone. Some reviewers have complained that the pinch gesture is just awkward, but in my experience it really hasn't been an issue, so your mileage may vary. So we know that the feature set of AirPods Pro is good, but none of that matters if these don't actually sound any good. Well, I'm happy to report that the AirPods Pro sound pretty good. They sound better than regular AirPods, part of which is because of the rubber tips creating the better seal in your ear, and part of that is also because of the different hardware that AirPods Pro have. These now finally have some low-end punch to them that was missing from regular AirPods. It's not at all an overwhelming amount, but it's certainly more present and audible. Voices in the mids of the audio are very clear. These are excellent for podcasts, by the way, in case you were wondering, and the highs sound good as well. With noise cancellation on, you can expect to get about 4.5 hours of battery life and 5 hours of noise cancellation off, which puts these right on par with regular AirPods. The charging case also holds an additional 19 hours of battery life, and all of these figures have been plenty good for me. I think the lowest I've ever gone AirPods Pro was down to like 30% after 4 hours of listening, and if you ever did need to go longer than 5 hours, the charging case only takes about 20 minutes to fill the earbuds back up to 100%. One weird little small thing is that the AirPods Pro come with a Lightning to USB-C cable in the box instead of a Lightning to USB-A cable, so do be ready for that. You can also wirelessly charge the Pros if you want, and the case itself only takes about an hour to go from dead to a full charge, which is really good. It isn't actually much bigger than a regular AirPods case, even though at first glance it does appear that way. The case is shorter and wider instead of tall and skinny like the regular AirPods case. It's still plenty small, fits in pretty much any pocket, so not an issue. And I've also heard some reviewers complain that the AirPods Pro are a little awkward to take out of the case, but I actually disagree with that. I haven't noticed that whatsoever. So going back to the 3 questions that I asked at the beginning of the review, what made me drop $250 on these AirPod Pros when I don't even like the regular $160 AirPods? Well, I just wanted AirPods with a good fit since regular AirPods don't fit good in my ears. I also wanted earbuds that would be good for workouts, which these are. Ones that look good, that were small, light, and they just worked and were out of the way, and they sounded good most importantly, and the AirPods Pro is all of these things. So then, who are these for? Well, I think AirPod Pros are really best suited for people who live in like a noisy city. Maybe they take a lot of public transit, travel a lot, things of that nature, since the active noise cancellation will really make the listening experience in those environments so much better. I also think AirPod Pros are really good for people who work a lot in collaborative environments but want to be able to listen to music because of the transparency mode these earbuds offer. That is incredibly easy to do. I also think that if you're someone who works out a lot, these are a good choice. Or if you're someone who just wants good earbuds for your iPhone that just work, these are perfect. Seriously, with your iPhone's Bluetooth on, all you do is flip open the case and by the time you put them in your ears, they're already connected. That's so convenient. Plus, you can toggle between different Apple devices on the same Apple ID very quickly. So then, has my opinion on AirPods changed with the AirPod Pros? Sort of. I'm still not a huge fan of the regular $160 AirPods, and AirPods Pro at $250 is a premium price to pay for sure, but I strongly believe that that premium price is worth it. If you want the absolute best fully wireless earbuds on the market, look no further than the AirPod Pros.